tonight's presentation, the name of the presentation is iPad and iPhone Alchemy, Mastering the Swiss Army Knife of Info Product Creation. And I'm so happy that you are here because I believe that what we're going to present to you is truly cutting-edge training. And it is our hope, it is our belief that you will not only thoroughly enjoy the training, but also get immediately usable ideas, like all of Tony and I's trainings, right during our presentation. So I will warn you that if you have not gotten a way to take notes, that you're going to want to take lots and lots of notes. So grab that right now. I also want to tell you that tonight's presentation does have a sponsor, and it is, in fact, realfastiproducts.com/go. And we will have an offer for you. This is Tony and I's brand new training. And just to tell you a teeny tiny a bit about this training, it's essentially where we're going to help you discover more ways to put your iPad and iPhone to profitable use. Okay, so that's in due course what you're going to hear about in the offer. And if you've ever been on one of our webinars before, you kind of know the drill, that we have an offer for you at the end. But you only get that, you're only going to get that offer after we have completely and thoroughly delivered on our promise to you. And I am going to try to extract a commitment from you, okay? Because Tony and I have put a lot of time, a lot of energy into making this presentation for you, and we really want you to get full benefit out of our time together. So it's not going to help you, okay, if you're only giving us partial attention. So let me just ask, will you commit to giving both Tony and I your full attention tonight? Which means, will you turn off your Facebook and your email and just focus on what we're teaching, okay? This is not going to be, a big sales pitch. I mean, we will have a offer for you at the end, but not during this time, okay? Not for the next probably hour, hour and a half. It's going to be pure 100% training. So, do we have your commitment that you will stay with us, that you will focus on what we're teaching? If so, go to your questions box and type in yes or some other affirmative comment, so that I know that we're all together. And I see them just rolling in now. We have lots of people on this webinar, so that's always a cool thing. All right, so looks like we've got their attention and their commitment, Tony. Let's get a little bit of background. You probably know who we are, but in case you're new to the fold, let me tell you a little bit about my business partner, Tony Leidig, and myself. First off, Tony is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, a photographer, a graphic designer, a teacher, a really good teacher, as you will soon find out, and an avid Mac user. As I said, he was one of the prime people that got me into even buying an iPhone in the first place. And among other things, he's an expert in profitable product creation. And more importantly for you, showing you how to use the bleeding edge of technology. In other words, what's the newest technology to profit more in your business, okay? That's a little bit about Tony. As for me, I'm an author, a speaker, nurse, attorney, believe it or not, blogger, and mostly a publisher. That's mostly what I see my role as. And I have likewise helped literally thousands of people publish profitable books, thousands of them, in fact. And many of these books have gone on to bestseller status, and that's something I'm very, very proud of. And so I love information product creation, and I preach it all the time to all of you, okay? Because this is essentially the key that released me from, slaving away as an attorney, working the 70, 80-hour weeks, because I was able to finally figure out how to create information products that people wanted to buy, and that eventually led me to the promised land, right? So that's who you're going to be learning from tonight, and a bit about why we are doing this training in the first place, because it may not be self-evident to you, but let me just go over it real quick. First, we wanted to do this training because iPads and iPhones are some of the most ubiquitous electronic products in the history of electronics. Essentially, just about, I won't say everyone has them, but many, many millions of people have either an iPhone or an iPad, or many of us have both, right? And second, and this is a big, big deal in my mind, second, most people see that cell phone, maybe you too, maybe some of you see that tablet, that iPad, as simply a cell phone or a tablet used for reading or watching movies or essentially entertainment, right? And the fact is that the iPad and the iPhone are some of the easiest to use and the most powerful info product creation tools to ever exist, okay? And I don't believe that's hyperbole. And I think after today's presentation that you will be one to that side of the argument. I believe that the iPad and the iPhone really are some of the most powerful product creation tools and therefore business building tools to ever come onto the scene, to exist on this planet. So our big aim here today is to change your paradigm. So if before today you thought of your iPhone and your iPad as simply a cell phone and an entertainment system, I want to now crank that idea 180 degrees and show you that it is, if you will use it the way we're going to teach it tonight, it will be one of the best, weapons in your arsenal. Okay, I really, really, truly believe that. All right. So the fact here is that both your iPad and your iPhone can be used to quickly and profitably create all sorts of great products, okay? Audio products, for example, ebooks even, Kindle books, believe it or not, physical books, believe it or not, video products, and even mind maps, okay? Mind maps and are really a great augment to many information product creation or many information products, and of course your iPad could be used to do so much more than that. So let me take a sip of water here real quick. For those of you that may not understand why we make such a big deal about creating information products, let me just tell you briefly the reasons here, because I think for many of you the reasons are self-evident. You already understand why you need to make information products, but for a certain group of you, I don't know that you do know why we just stress this and preach it and really try to do our level best to teach it. So here are the two main reasons why you want to create info products. Reason number one is they allow you to share your expertise and solutions by and through your product and potentially help many more people in the process. Now let's kind of look at that for a second. Now you might be in the service business. Maybe you are a coach, maybe you're a physician, maybe you're a psychologist, maybe you're a publishing consultant. Maybe you're a chiropractor, maybe you're an insurance salesman. Whatever you do in your day-to-day life, or whatever you have done in your day-to-day life, chances are you are helping one person to one person. In other words, you're helping one person at a time with your solutions and your essentially your services, whatever they happen to be. And what I'm here to try to demonstrate for you is that when you take your solutions, okay, and embody them into information products, then instead of selling your time, right, or just your time, you can of course continue to sell your time, but instead of selling just your time, you amalgamate, you embody your solutions within those information products, and consequently you could help a whole big group of people that you could never have reached, okay, one-off, or helping them one-on-one, because there's only one of you and there's only so many hours in the day, right? But you could sell an unlimited and infinite number of information products, and therefore at least theoretically you could help an infinite number of people. All right, so that's reason number one. And of course, reason number two dovetails very nicely into reason number one, and that is that info products allow you to trade your product for money instead of your time for money. And as I say here, you could sell infinite info products, especially if they're digital, because after all, if they're digital information products, you're just selling electrons, right? But you're always going to be limited on the amount of time you could sell. So this is one of the reasons why, you know, we really, really want you to be creating lots and lots of information products. And the fact of the matter is that this did help me to break away from my 70-hour-a-week job, right? Being able to do this. So what we really want you to understand by and through this presentation today is that you can use your iPad and or iPhone as essentially a ATM or automatic teller machine to crank out cash anytime you want to make a new info product real fast, even if you're on vacation, even if you're traveling in Europe, even if you are, you know, up at the lake like I am right now, right? And that's what we intend to do on this webinar, is to show you the how. The how, okay? So that's our primary message to you. So now that you understand our promise, let me just check in with you and make sure that this is what you were expecting. And my question is, do I have the right audience? If so, go to your questions right now and type in heck yes. That's why we showed up. That's why we are here. That's what we are expecting. Okay, cool. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So with that said, let me give you the foundational idea. Because if I think you understand this idea, then it'll be easier to understand the rest of what we do here tonight. Essentially, we use the iPad to make info products because with the iPad, you can make them faster, better, easier, and, believe it or not, cheaper. And this is very true because from especially the whole cheaper element of it, and even for that matter, faster element as well, because the makers of some of the most powerful and expensive software programs, these, by the way, are the programs that you and I and Tony and we all use to make our information products, but some of these super powerful, super expensive software programs that we use to make these info products have incorporated their solutions into cheap apps, okay? And that is a very cool thing. In fact, one of the huge advantages here is that that apps are either free, and I'm going to show you some examples here tonight, or much less expensive than desktop equivalents. For example, with Adobe Photoshop, you would pay about $900 to buy that app. Or, I'm sorry, to buy that program. But you could buy the Photoshop Touch for tablet, not for $900, but for $9.99. Okay? Perfect example of what we're talking about. Very powerful programs these Adobe products are. But there's actually more examples here. Like, for example, this this is a really cool program. It's called Video Scribe. It actually makes one of those. It will has that hand that it will draw out things, and it's really nice to watch. And it's a great tool for keeping people's attention in videos. And it's a thing that we use. And the thing is that if you have that, right? If you have that, and you get the online version, it's going to cost you about $25 per month, okay? Or you can get the iPad version of it for $4.99. Now there is I think another $3 or $4 upsell to, or it's called an in-app purchase, to take off all of the Video Scribe labeling, but essentially for like $8, $9, you can get essentially the same thing that you would pay either $25 a month for or $189 a year for, and that's essentially what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Now here's another perfect example. What about Microsoft Office? You all know how much Office is if you buy it, but let's just say that you just were going to rent it for it's going to cost you essentially about $150 a year, okay, or $15 a month if you don't do the yearly. In other words, you go month to month, it's $15. But I want to introduce you to this really cool app that has, by the way, MS Word, it has PowerPoint, and it has Excel in an app called Cloud On. Very few people know about this, but Cloud On gives you all of those PowerPoint, MS Word, and Excel for free. Okay, and this list goes on and on and on. There's literally dozens of other deals going on with that. Now, as a matter of fact, here are some more examples. So essentially, with this groundwork laid, I want to show you how we're going to show. Now, there's obviously tons of ways to make profitable products with your iPhone and your iPad. And what Tony and I thought we would do here tonight is show you one of the ways to do that. So, and with that said, I'm going to turn the virtual microphone over here to my good friend Tony Leidig. And Tony, can you lead us to the promised land here?
Yeah, absolutely, Daniel. And
Excellent.
yeah, and one of something that I'd like to share as Daniel was talking, I'm always looking for ways to simplify my business, have my business be more effective, whatever the case may be. And I found that, I like to do road trips, and usually drive, preferably, although I was in LA for a week and I flew out there. It was gruesome. But, I have a 27-inch iMac is what I'm teaching from right now, and I love taking that with me. But I've decided more and more that I want to travel light, but still run my business. And so over the last few months, I've been pushing my iPad to see, can I really use this thing to run my business in place of my iMac or in place of my MacBook Pro or whatever. And the results have been pretty exciting because I'm an intensely curious person, those of you who know me, and so I'm always looking for ways to see if I can push the envelope and make things do what they aren't supposed to do. And so I thought that for our example tonight, I would lay the foundation for one of those things that you aren't supposed to be able to do with an iPad, and that is create print books. Okay, and we're going to use software that isn't supposed to be used to create print books, but if you're like me, you're always looking for fun ways to cheat the system legally and for some hacks.